Welcome to SchezzWho, Hampton Road's top spot for politics. Just last night we proved this with the show hosting a debate between Green Party Virginia Rep Tom Yeager and Libertarian presidential candidate Chase Oliver, who made his second return to SchezzWho's programming. That's the quality show you get here at SchezzWho. Just remember, like this video, subscribe to this channel, participate with questions and comments tonight. Share this video to your Portsmouth friends. We want to grow SchezzWho to make sure that you do your free part and like and subscribe. That way people all over Hampton Roads can be able to learn from all their candidates who will ask for their vote come November. Now, don't forget those who help this channel along as well, including Andrea Dixon, my awesome wife, who has a new frontier in workforce starting today. So success is going to be on the very near horizon with her and all the people that she helps out. Can't wait to see how this transposes into a new and more productive life. Also want to shout out my good friend, Miss Ellen, at Ellen's Homestyle and Barbecue Express, where I've enjoyed some good food, including the fried fish, which is my favorite of hers. Catfish and whiting are both good there. And I enjoyed it both at her location at Virginia Beach, across from Regent University, and right here in Portsmouth at Portsmouth Boulevard, across from Victory Crossing. Look up Ellen's Homestyle and Barbecue Express. And I also want to shout out my good friend, Mr. Seiko Varner at Positive Vibes Incorporated, which helps out with entertainment because he's a DJ, and consulting services, stuff like credit fixes and tax resolutions and private money and doing debt consolidation. If you want all that, make sure you reach out to positivevibesfinancial@gmail.com, 757-932-0177. And also look up his new app that he helped generate, the Hampton Roads Green Book. The Hampton Roads Green Book is a directory of Black and minority-owned business in Hampton Roads area. Look him up, get in contact. He will help you out. Now back to tonight's show, and give me 1 second as the cat starts to wail on this live programming. Mr. Hero, shh. And that worked out. So again, look up Mr. Seiko Varner to help you out with that. But back on to tonight's programming. We're interviewing Portsmouth City Council candidate Bruce Lalonde. I'm going to bring him on right now, and I want to thank him for coming on tonight, sir. And how are you?
Conrad, I'm doing well, thank you. Early voting started on Friday, so it's more than keeping me busy, starting at 8 o'clock. And then as just as a segue today, and if we get a chance to talk about it, the police chief had a quarterly meeting with all us stakeholders who are trying to help reduce, and his keyword, save lives here in the city of Portsmouth. So thank you very much for asking.
That's good. That might be one of my first prepared questions is about safety, so be ready for that. But I want to give the viewers of SchezzWho, especially the Portsmouth ones, a chance to learn about yourself. So give us a good history about some of your interests, what you do here in Portsmouth, and your civic history as well.
Thanks, Conrad. Thanks. I'm a local boy. All my public schooling was here in the city of Portsmouth. I was raised in Hodges Manor. I'm the oldest of 8. My father was a Navy chief. I lost him early to Agent Orange. My mother loved her and did a tremendous job raising the 8 of us. After I left high school, I did well in high school, ran track, played tennis, very competitive academically and athletically. Went to the University of Tennessee, where I got my undergraduate degree in accounting and eventually became a CPA. But while I was at the University of Tennessee, I felt a tremendous amount of patriotism. This was 1971, 72, and I tried to get myself to Vietnam. So I joined the Navy, eventually got in and did a 26-year career retiring as a Navy captain. I've been all over the world, 4 ships, served in the Middle East, served Haiti, around South America. So I've sailed as Navy ships are supposed to be. Finance and logistics, Navy exchanges were my specialty. So I'm used to handling big money, and we'll talk more about my money background. But with the Navy Exchange, I had responsibility for 2.1 billion. I was then brought on to a special project with the Secretary of Defense, where I was awarded the Defense Superior Service Medal for my collaboration with the Army Navy system, which was 6.7 billion. So I'm used to handling big dollars. While I was in the Navy, I received a master's degree from The Ohio State University, MBA in marketing. I got a master's degree in computers from George Washington University and a master's in strategic planning for National Defense University. So I think I'm educated and qualified for this particular job. As an aside with education, I also taught business classes for 8 years at Tidewater Community College when I was on shore duty. After leaving the Navy, I wanted to stay in that bent of with money. I worked for a forensic accounting company out of Atlanta. I was vice president of government operations, where we looked at federal, state, and local governments that did at least $1 billion worth of business or more. And my responsibility was to find them efficiencies or irregularities in their handling of money and contracts. So again, I am used to handling big money. I'm used to helping government organizations find efficiencies in their jobs. After that, life was good. Again, as I said, retired Navy captain, did well in the role I was in at this forensic accounting company. I decided to start dedicating my life more towards giving back. I've always been, again, served my country. Now it was time to serve my state and my city. So I became some of the things I did was I was head of the USO, which was a veterans-oriented or active duty-oriented organization for the state of Virginia. I was chairman of the board of Catholic Charities. I became a mentor. I wanted to give back to young people in the city of Portsmouth, young boys especially who were struggling with single moms who needed male role figures. So when Big Brothers Big Sisters went out of business in Portsmouth, the Up Center created a division called Team Up, and I was the second match for that. Ended up overall doing 5 boys and 3 at one time. I then thrust myself into education. I believe in education too. I put myself on the Portsmouth School Foundation board and was on that board for a few years. Helped revive the Portsmouth Athletic League, and I was the vice chairman and finance chairman for that. I moved over with public education. Since I'm Catholic, I'm now on the board of Portsmouth Catholic Regional School. I am presently, I just stepped down about a year ago as chairman of the board of Portsmouth Redevelopment Housing Authority, which again dealt with affordable housing and low-income housing for almost 14,000 people here in the city of Portsmouth. I'm presently the chairman of the board of a president of Safety Town, which provides safety awareness training with the school system, the police chief, the fire chief, and the sheriff for all kindergartners, first graders, and third graders. We've been around since 1975, and I helped stand up a nonprofit there about 3 years ago. I'm president of the Portsmouth Military Officers Association, on the board of the Portsmouth Mayor's Military Alliance. Some other roles I've had, I was chairman of the city's Municipal Finance Commission. And about 10 years ago, there was a 2025 Citizens Commission, Comprehensive Plan Commission. I was on that. So I've thrust myself strongly now towards, while I say in the background, trying to provide leadership to nonprofits that provide goodness to people in the city of Portsmouth. And I'd like to highlight that some of the best things I did was help bring back Pokey Smokey to City Park. And then because of my mentoring work, military newspapers, the Virginia Mentoring Partnership, Volunteer Hampton Roads have all named me Volunteers of the Year. So while I didn't look for the pats on the back, they were nice to get. But the young men they started when we were 8. A couple of them are 20s, or they're in their 20s now. We're now not mentors, mentees, we're just good friends. And they've all done very well in their lives because they finally had a male who was there to help them get them through those times that they need to get through. So is that enough?
Oh, yeah. I think it's a rather deep intro, and I think people going to the polls will be able to know more about your ability to serve the public going into a role of literally serving the public. So it's good that they know that going in advance.
Thank you.
Now, personally, I am relatively new to Portsmouth. I moved to the West Haven area in the middle of 2022. Made my first Portsmouth votes last year in the state races. I live in a neighborhood that's right near the Epicenter, so I'm glad that you have a little bit of help that you've done with them over the years. Fortunately, I've been able to interview several Portsmouth mayor candidates and school board candidates, and for a couple of city council candidates. So I'm fortunate to have you on and to help me whittle away at the topics that are interested to me, which will help me pick who I will soon vote for.
Thank you, Conrad.
Now, when I had on Pastor Kelvin Turner, who was the last Portsmouth City Council candidate I had on, I pulled up some important topics. I asked the things that were important to me, and I would like to do my best to ask the same questions to you. You had mentioned public safety. I want to start off with that because that's how I started off with Dr. Turner. And it was at that time that there was just a shooting that had happened the night before in Suffolk. And I live in a neighborhood that in January had a mass shooting in Portsmouth. They had two people unfortunately die on my street. So it hit literally close to home. Now, in terms of going into city council, should there be targeted policy, or should city council reduce guns where possible, or reduce the things that lead to people to wanting to be violent? Is there a mix that should be done, one or the other? How would you view it as a city council member?
As far as reducing crime, when it comes to guns, of course, I'm not going to, Second Amendment people are authorized to have guns. But I'm going to bring up the personal experience of Safety Town. Again, as I said, we have the kindergartners, the first graders, and the third graders. And the police chief has asked us to add a gun safety awareness module to our curriculum, and we do. And we ask at the beginning of the video that we give and the safety awareness training we give, we ask the 5-year-olds, the 6-year-olds, and your 8-year-olds 2 questions. One, are you in a house where there's a gun or a weapon? And about 60 to 70% of the hands go up, which kind of validates that, hey, this is a Second Amendment country and area, and there's guns in the houses. But the second question, which is the one that has caused us the most concern, and we've brought it up with the superintendent of schools, and I have addressed it to city council, of you children that have your hands up, how many of y'all have played with that weapon or touched that weapon without your parent in the house? And about half the hands stay up. So I guess when it comes to gun safety, gun awareness, very concerned about getting the message out consistently, lock up your weapons, put your weapons away, put them in a safe place, put the ammunition different, put gun safety locks on it, because 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, and 8-year-olds know it's there. I recently, again, with Safety Town, I'm very close to the police chief, the sheriff, and we talk all the time about what can we do to help educate kids and make kids more aware about guns. But in the role of city council, again, the responsibility is to provide as much support to the police chief and to the city manager and to all those nonprofits and all those community organizations that are involved with saving lives in the city of Portsmouth, and to be as best we can as visible people, as city council people, to say, hey, we're the ones who got to take back our city. We're the ones who've got to get involved. It's not just if you see it, say something. It's for us to deliver that message on a daily basis. Hey, we need to care about the lives of everybody in the city of Portsmouth.
I want to shout out the first comment of the night from good Portsmouth friend, Mr. Sergio O'Neill, who says that my first real training around gun safety came from MCJROTC at Churchland High School. Good to hear that Safety Town has that component at another venue that can educate a younger audience. So as you can see, it's already working to influence the community in a positive way. I want to bring up the second question that I asked Dr. Turner, and let's go with a little bit of description of Portsmouth. It's over 50% Black. My wife is Black. We both live in Portsmouth going on 2.3 years now, and we've been thinking of starting a family here. One of the variables against the lack of wanting to do that is that there is lack of quality care for prospective Black maternity. People would have to leave Portsmouth for a good birthing hospital. Should City Council try to address that aggressively?
Absolutely. Conrad, I just came off of being on the board of Bon Secours, and one of the sticking points I had was the services being offered by Maryview Hospital, which is our hospital here in Portsmouth. And a little bit of history: we used to have two hospitals, Portsmouth General and Maryview, and there was a buyout of Portsmouth General by Maryview. But as a Portsmouth citizen at that time, we always felt that, hey, Maryview had a responsibility to provide the medical care for all citizens. And you lead perfectly into some of the issues that I had with Maryview at the time that really put me at odds on the board. Is they took the birthing away from Maryview. So if you think about the further on history of Portsmouth, 20 years from now, 30 years, 40 years from now, there'll be conversations about, where are you from? Well, I wasn't born in Portsmouth. Well, that in a way does impact the reputation, the history of a city. I'm concerned about that. So one, birthing. Two, at present, there's no mammography. There's no mammogram for women at the city of Portsmouth, at the Maryview Hospital. So you have two things that concern women. And I have 4 daughters and 4 sisters, and women's health is very, very important to me. The next one, we don't have any significant, I call them urgent care clinics, doc in the boxes here in the city of Portsmouth. Why don't we? Why doesn't Maryview, since they're supposed to be leading the medical charge here in the city of Portsmouth, why don't we have that? There used to be a free clinic right outside the emergency room door at Maryview. That's no longer there anymore. That's concerning to me. And then a few years ago, I'm going to say about 3-4 years ago, they moved 18 beds away from Maryview over to Harborview for their new hospital. And then most recently, trauma care is now being taken care of by the Naval Hospital. So you talk about wanting to raise children, and not only children, but care for women. I want them to get that care here in Portsmouth, not in Suffolk, not in Chesapeake. I appreciate what Harborview is doing. I think it's going to be a great complex out there, but I don't live in Suffolk, all right? And do we have a real good advocate on council for medical? I've never heard it come up as a discussion item. I want it to be a discussion item. I know it sounds so simple. I would like people born in the city of Portsmouth, other than the Naval Hospital, because when they're born there, they usually go someplace else. But a small thing? No, it's not a small thing. It's a big thing to me.
Thank you for that answer. Before I go on to my next page, we chatted a little bit before this. I jotted down the possibility of a question based on regionalism, because as you know, I hail from Virginia Beach. I'm a prolific voter from Virginia Beach up until when I got here. And we spoke briefly on the 2016 election where Courtney was running against Rosemary Wilson. And I'm pretty sure I actually voted for Courtney back at the time. Of course, I was in a different district, but that was the voting system at the time.
Yes.
The hybrid at-large thing, which was then declared unconstitutional. But in the aspect of, you never disliked who she was running against, because Rosemary has become either a strong acquaintance, possibly a friend who's done good work, and you prospectively on Portsmouth City Council could be prospectively working in a regional sense alongside Rosemary Wilson and others in Chesapeake and others in Norfolk. What are your thoughts on regionalism and how it may help Portsmouth?
I am, it may be not good to say, but I am a big advocate of regionalism. Having a couple roles, Conrad. One, president and executive director of the USO, the service organization. My headquarters office was in Newport News, and of course we have active duty military in all the areas. So it was important for me to work with all the council members, all the city managers in each one of the cities. McKinley Price in Newport News, Donnie Tuck in Hampton, Will Sessoms when he was at Virginia Beach, Mayor Fram when he was at Norfolk, and then the city managers. Don't need to go into all the names, but regionalism I'm a light rail advocate. I think we're now with crime. We have all these cameras now, and we have all these license plate readers where we share information involving crime. We talked about the medical now with Portsmouth kind of chipping away at the medical needs. Now that need's going to be filled by other cities. So while we cannot be an island in the city of Portsmouth at all, and to be successful, hey, there's some things we do well, and we'll talk about that. But there's some great things other cities are doing well that I think we ought to share the goodness. An example: our police officers are trained in Newport News. All right, there's some goodness that we get from Newport News already. We have a casino here in Portsmouth. I know we're going to be sharing some goodness with the city of Norfolk when it comes to running a casino and how you tax a casino and how you provide security to a casino. But if we're gonna survive as an area, as a statistical marketing area, we've got to get smart on regionalism. And what's going to bring us all together, Conrad, is this broadband that's coming into the area. It's going to naturally cause us to all come together because the communication is going to come together. So the two things that I think are going to be powerful that the millennials are going to take us to, one is this broadband internet connectivity, and the next one is going to be transportation, because millennials are going to want to be able to get on a light rail, get on a system somewhere, because they don't want to buy a car. They want to be able to have some sort of transit take us. So I think that's where the future is going, and we as council members are going to have to say, hey, can we get together? And I already have those. I don't have to worry about GPS or introducing myself to somebody in one of the other councils. I know them already.
Mm-hmm. I want to toot a little bit of my own horn here because I also ran for council in Virginia Beach as most recent as 2020. And I was a particular fan of rapid bus transit and wanting to bring that to Virginia Beach in more regional style, because Virginia Beach is particularly anti-light rail.
Yes.
Not all the other cities are going to feel that way. But Virginia Beach is also, we're going to bring in the cables that you just mentioned. Rosemary, as we spoke of, was instrumental in helping to bring that along.
Yes.
Again, regionalism, some people dislike, but it's also just very beneficial to the 757 as a whole. And I think it's more proactive to try to think of it mindfully.
Well, let me just bring up one more point. The other one that's already in front of us is the flooding issues in
yes.
cities, and you got to look at it like a balloon. The 7 cities are like a balloon. You poke in the balloon one area, it's going to come out someplace else. So decisions that Portsmouth is making about flooding may impact Norfolk. Decisions Norfolk's making about flooding may impact Virginia Beach. We have got to get on board with that, or we're just going to lose. Like North Carolina is already losing houses already to the ocean, and it's just it's overwhelming. We've got to stay in front of it.
Yeah, out there on Rodanthe, and I attended a Sandbridge Mayor Forum in Virginia Beach, and Sandbridge is very similar to the Outer Banks. So you're going to see a lot of houses there that have stilts that they're on, and it's just as capable. With one particular storm, it could all be gone. So all being mindful about that is important. We also want to be mindful about cost of living, and Portsmouth is not the only city with cost of living concerns. I work and hail from Virginia Beach, and they have it too. Here's the kicker. In Portsmouth, there's the highest property taxes in the 757. There's tolls to my job and from my job. And heck, it's kind of difficult to get employment here in Portsmouth, as I've seen. So how would council balance both taxes, tolls, and well-qualified individuals having to look for work outside the city at times? How would you view that?
Well, my whole vision, my primary issue running for council is for transparent and accountability when it comes to finances here in the city of Portsmouth. There, in my estimation, there is absolutely no reason why our taxes are so high, and all they've done is go up. There hasn't been any real reduction in our property taxes. $1.30 a mil is absolutely ridiculous. Our garbage, the amount we pay for trash is one of the highest in the area. And we're doing it all on the backs of the seniors because the housing values are going up. So housing values are going up, it causes them to pay more taxes. I want to be in those discussions when it comes to how we're spending our money. We have a casino now that should be helping with some of that burden. We have a port that we're struggling with all the time, but it's bringing business into the city of Portsmouth. There shouldn't be the discussion that we're having about money, which is just very confusing to me. And as I said, my expertise is government accounting, and I want to get in there. I want to be able to help the city manager. I want to be able to help the chief financial officer. I want to help educate the city council to say we need to be more financially fiscal, more fiscally responsible. And the best way to do it, the first thing, is to just add some continuity to the leadership, whether it be city manager or the CFO. While we talk about city managers, we've had 6 different chief financial officers in the 4 years. We're a $1 billion company, Conrad, and it's how do you manage a $1 billion company when you're getting rid of the CFO every year and a half? Who's watching it out for us? Secondly, we don't have a city auditor in the city of Portsmouth. There should be a second set of eyes to the council giving of advice about what we should be doing with money. The other one, which is I support wholeheartedly, is a board or commission on finances for the city made up of, we have a lot of intelligent people. We've got boards for Parks and Rec, we've got boards for planning, we've got boards for parking authority, but we don't have any business people, finance people that are on a board to give the city CFO or the city auditor or even city council advice on how to do the money. But we're a great city that has a lot of things that we have going on, but we have got to get the finances right now with this casino, because in 2 years, when Norfolk gets their casino on, 3 years when Petersburg gets their casino in, we're not going to have this icing on the cake that we have right now, and we need to do a better job of how we're handling our finances.
Very mindful. I like that. Now, this question that I asked Dr. Turner was based on his call for new leadership in a new direction. Do you also share just a leadership mindset that there is something regarding leadership and the direction of the city that should change? And would you like to help usher that in?
Absolutely. I talked about all these, being a Navy captain and being president and CEO of all these organizations. And I just didn't start at that level. I had to work my way up. I had to collaborate with people. I had to collaborate with colleagues. I had to have the respect of the people that worked for me. So I'm used to leadership. But more importantly, I'm a business leader. I'm a business finance leader. That's what in my feelings about the 7 people that are on council right now, who is the advocate for large businesses. Now, small businesses we need, don't get me wrong, I like small businesses, but we need somebody who's handled, as I said, billions of dollars, because we're a $1 billion company. And I want to bring that level of expertise with Portsmouth Redevelopment Housing Authority. I helped bring in the Wendy's that was on London Avenue. I helped bring in the Starbucks and the Chipotle that's over there across the street, Turnpike Road, where the Kroger's at. Help bring in the mustard seed that's at the old Tidewater Community College thing. So I was an advocate for economic development while I was at the Housing Authority, but we need to go to a higher level. We're not going to make it with just these small businesses. We've got to have some large businesses here. We used to have a Gwaltney manufacturing plant, a plant here in Portsmouth, left us about 5 years ago. You can't buy a new car in the city of Portsmouth. That's big business. A man can't buy a suit in the city of Portsmouth. So we don't have that high-end clothing. I'm not saying everything's got to be luxury, but we need the bigger businesses who bring in jobs. You talked about jobs, all right? We need the bigger companies to bring in the jobs to also raise the housing stock that we have here in the city of Portsmouth. 80% or so, and it's arguable, of the people that work at the shipyard, the people that work at the Naval Hospital, the people that work at the Coast Guard base do not live in the city of Portsmouth, all right? Because they have jobs here. They've been here for a long time. But we need to develop the housing stock for them. So by doing this stuff with taxes, by doing this stuff with big businesses, we can attract those folks and keep them here. So I'm a, what I want to bring to the council is business financial leadership at the highest level.
All right. Now, I also had Dr. Whitaker on as well, and his wife is on the school board. When I had Dr. Turner on, his wife has been a teacher for many years in the Portsmouth area. So I was able to ask them both about education. So in terms of public education here in Portsmouth, private as well, how do you view it? How would you like to change it? What should be part of your vision as a separate government entity, but still one that might help fund or reduce funding, hopefully not, on public education? What's your overall view of that?
I'm a product of the Portsmouth Public Schools, so I'm a firm believer of the schools. And I believe our schools are doing, in my opinion, they're not getting the press that they deserve, but we've got some great kids coming out of our school system. We've got this College First program with Tidewater Community College, where we have dozens of kids who are graduating with an associate's degree at the same time they're getting their high school diploma. We've got Star-Based Victory, I was on the board of Star-Based. We have one of the probably premier STEM programs in the United States right here in Portsmouth. We've got money. I'm an advocate for more money. As I said, I was on this comprehensive commission 2025. This was 12 years ago. Our goal was that 33% of the budget of the city should be going to education. We're sitting about 23, 24% right now. I'm not going to say money's the panacea, but if you can develop more CTE programs, career technical education programs, which I was on the first board for that for the city of Portsmouth, where we brought in early childhood, we brought in horticulture, we brought in hotel management at Norcom, we brought in food service at Wilson, and now even more programs that we have, career and technical. I think Portsmouth is doing great stuff. Now, is there work that needs to be done? Yes, we got work that needs to be done in reading skills. We got work to be done in math skills. We need to keep our teacher pay competitive. We need to make sure our schools are as modern and as comfortable and safe for the kids to go to. But I got to tell you, I was proud to come from the Portsmouth Public Schools. I'm a supporter of the Portsmouth Public Schools. It's why I was on the School Foundation board. It's why I'm on the Portsmouth Catholic Regional Board. I think those kids that want an education, a good education, a great education in Portsmouth, it's available to them. And again, as I said, they can have 2 years of their college knocked out before they even graduate. That's phenomenal.
Indeed. My next question is going to hinge at least around the topic of education in relation to other government employees. I, of course, am a government employee, just not of Portsmouth. I work in Virginia Beach, and I was there the night that they had the topic of municipal employee collective bargaining, which failed there. Portsmouth, I was there the night that it did succeed in passing in this city. I will note that you've been endorsed by the Portsmouth Education Association, I believe also the Firefighters Association.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
And those are the two that I know about. If you want to mention a couple of others that are relating to government employees that might have endorsed your way too, you can mention them in your answer. But wrapping it around municipal collective bargaining, what is your thoughts on that? Was it a good vote? If it comes up again somehow in expansion, how might your vote on it be?
I'm a supporter of collective bargaining. All right. Being the leadership positions that I have, I've always worked well with unions. I've always wanted union support because, you're only as successful as the employees and those people that you have working with you. All right. I never felt that they worked for me. We worked together. And whether you want to call it an asset, employees are the biggest asset that you have to any company. And as I said, we're $1 billion corporation. For us to be successful, we've got to make sure that we're taking care of our employees. Collective bargaining, whether it be at for fire and the public safety, I believe in it. They're wanting to get our attention. I believe this is The best way to get our attention is to put them at the table and have them be part of that discussion as we develop, whether it's budgets or plans for the future. Let's bring it. They're good people. Those of us on council or those of us in leadership roles, we're going to be gone in 3 or 4 years. Those employees that work for the city, they're there 20, 30, and 40 years. They have a vested interest. They want to be successful. They come to work every day wanting to be successful. I want to hear that. And if collective bargaining will help with that, hey, I'm a full supporter of it, Conrad. Always have been, always will be.
Good. That's beneficial to my ears. I don't know if everyone at Portsmouth will, but at least the host agrees with that. So there is that. When I went to my next question with Dr. Turner, I was basing that question off of his statement that he wants to reimagine economics, I guess in relation to Portsmouth. Norfolk is about to bring in their own casino over the next few years. And I'm trying to imagine if that means the big item that we brought in of the casino here in Portsmouth will start to show diminishing returns as maybe other ones pop up across roads. Does that mean other relative big ticket items are going to need to come into the city? What is the role of council in trying to attract that? And what type of businesses might you like to see come into Portsmouth?
As I talked about a little earlier, I'd like to see larger businesses come to Portsmouth. I'd like to see, the income, the housing stock come in a little bit higher in the city of Portsmouth. And as I said, I'm here running on a financial transparency and accountability platform because right now, we have some excellent opportunities to make hay while the sun's shining. The city jail area is now available for development. Fantastic opportunity. The port side of land has been vacant now for years. Still that possibility of the whole waterfront now, the entire waterfront, moving City Hall off the waterfront. That opportunity is now because we've got these few dollars from the casino that's available to us. So I'm an advocate for bigger businesses. I'm an advocate for doing it now, but we've got to create those plans now. And if I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that, hey, we have the I call them shovel-ready projects ready to go. Then on politically, and you talk about politics, we have a person in the city of Portsmouth who's the head of the Senate Appropriations and Finance Committee. So we have a person that has an opportunity to bring capital into the city of Portsmouth. We have a person in the city of Portsmouth who's head of the House of the state government. So there's no other locality in the state and the Commonwealth that has that political capital behind us that could help us with that. All we have to do in Portsmouth is come up with the plans, because in my opinion, there's money available. There's two very strong people that could help us with funds diverting funds into the city of Portsmouth. So I'm excited about right now, but it's got to be done right now because, as you said, Casino Norfolk comes in. We're going to have to look, hey, where are we going to make up that? The Commonwealth has been talking about some of the things they want to take away from the port, and they've been nipping at us at the port all the time. We got to solve for that. Petersburg, if they put their casino in, but we have an excellent opportunity right now. In my opinion, we've got about a 2-year window, and we can't waste a day of it.
All right. You had touched a little bit about your civic history. You have helped with housing, at least topically, here in the city of Portsmouth, but going forward. We all know how important affordable housing is for the people who live here. So could you touch a little bit more about your specific vision of what you would like to do regarding housing in this particular city?
One, we need more housing. As I said, when I was on the chairman of the board, we had over 8,000 people who were on the housing list. Now, those are low income, granted, but we had a need for housing. I've always had the vision, and I know it kind of helps economically too, is if we could develop more housing for seniors, one, to help them make that transition from a house. And I know this sounds kind of weird, But right now, seniors in housing have done well. Usually their houses are paid off, and they live in homes that are about 200, let's say about 200, $225,000 houses. And they've been in those houses for years. Well, I want to help them make that transition by whether it be apartments or townhouses. And I was an advocate for it in the city of Portsmouth. And we're building, we finally got a contract for Lexington Place to build 100 units there. And out in Churchland, off of Twin Pines Road, to build another 40, 50 there. So let's say that's 150, 200 places that seniors could make a transition out of their house. Now, these 200 homes that are going to be vacated by the seniors, and I want it to be more housing for seniors. Millennials, usually when they buy their first home, and I don't know about you, Conrad, how much you paid for your house in West Haven, but normally it's about $200,000 and $225,000. And what's the first thing that millennials do? What's the first thing millennials do when they buy a house? They renovate it, they upgrade it, all right? And that naturally raises the tax base without the city having to, say, oh, I've got to appraise your house higher, because the millennials have already done the work. So you've just increased the taxes that are available to the city because millennials are helping us. Seniors are now in a place where they're more comfortable. They can afford on their fixed income. So I'm an advocate, one, not only for senior housing, but also for workforce housing. On Effingham and Court, Effingham, the Holly Point property, we helped bring that because we needed housing for workforce housing for people that had incomes of about $45,000 to $60,000, and most of those either worked at the hospital or the shipyard because we didn't have that. But we've got housing challenges at all areas. But I was one. Right now, I'm focused primarily on senior housing because I feel we have a responsibility to the seniors, and millennials will take care of the rest because they're coming. Millennials are coming, and they're buying the houses now, as I said, at that $225,000, $250,000 price range.
True. An interesting issue regarding that, when you go to the forums in Virginia Beach, listen to some of the candidates of people who are, say, the District 8 in Virginia Beach, they like to mention the zoning issues regarding the housing, and they don't like bringing in more multifamily housing in areas that are next to single family housing. Is that something that you would like to see more multifamily, maybe, but not like jump it all together?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. There has to be a balance. I mean, people bought their homes in a lot of these areas, but I am an advocate for multifamily housing. All right.
I am too.
We only have so much land in the city of Portsmouth. I mean, we just don't have the luxury of the even you in West Haven. You probably got about a little bit more, about a half acre of property probably around your property. You go to some cities, they got an apartment building with 10 homes in it. We're going to have to go up. We just don't have the land. We have a couple places off of Hatton Point, the old Randolph Farms area, but that family is not willing to give it up. Grove Baptist on West Norfolk is looking to build a housing area out in Churchland. They're putting those apartments in. Housing is going to be a challenge. Population ain't going down, and city of Portsmouth, we've been kind of stagnant about 95 to 97,000 people. All right, but again, my issue is we need those folks that work at the shipyard, the Naval Hospital, the Coast Guard base to start living in Portsmouth. Okay, they make good money. I want that money spent here in the city of Portsmouth. They're going to Norfolk, they're going to Virginia Beach, they're going to Chesapeake, they're going to Isle of Wight. I mean, look at Suffolk. Suffolk is exploding because there's no toll on that side. That's where the growth is going to be. That's where the growth is going to be, and we've got areas over there, and whether Churchland likes it or not, or where I live in Green Lakes or Elizabeth Manor, there's got to be some real solid discussion about building multi-family housing in those areas.
Now, the last topical question that I asked Dr. Turner was regarding settling a government where upper management has gone through so much turnover in the past couple of years, and the council body itself seems kind of, at times, dysfunctional. So with yourself on council, and you might help provide votes on preserving or getting rid of city managers or deputy city managers or chiefs, and whether or not you work as a team pretty well, how do you want to approach the idea of just working with the rest of the elected officials and the rest of city government?
I'm excited about working with them. I mean, again, where I've been before in leadership positions, I've always been excited about working with the folks, that my colleagues or peers. Uh, but my vision has always been to focus on the positive, not on the negative. I like, we can focus on the 10% that's bad, or we can applaud the 90% that's good. What I will bring to the table is I want to create an environment of success in the city. There's always going to be failure. People are always going to make mistakes, but I'm going to work hard to make sure that the resources that the city manager needs, the support the city manager needs, I don't need to be providing him guidance. That's why you hire that person. But Mr. City Manager, once we've made a decision at council, we need to go all on board and support that city manager. I use the analogy all the time in baseball. You can get 3 hits out of 10 and you're considered a superstar, superstar. That means you failed 70% of the time. It's okay if people that have worked for me or I've worked with, it's okay to fail because you do learn if you learn from those failures. Okay. But think about it. You fail 70% of the time in baseball, you're considered a superstar. In the city of Portsmouth, somehow we have this attitude, you make a mistake, we're going to get rid of you. That's a terrible way to live. That's a terrible way to come to work. As I said, when we talked about collective bargaining, the employees of Portsmouth come to work wanting to do a good job. And I want to applaud them for doing a good job. I want to applaud them for longevity. And if we don't get some longevity, that's why we're having the issues that we're having with all the leadership and why we can't keep good people, because people come into work every day and don't know where they're going to have a job or not. That's a horrible thing to have hanging over your head. And I want to I want to become one of the biggest cheerleaders this city has. I live here. I've grown up here. My parents are at Olive Branch Cemetery. I'm home. And I want my home to be one that proud that everybody can come to.
Indeed. The last real, this is not even so much a question. It's just I want to let you have the ability to give the final 3-minute or so elevator pitch. So why someone like myself, my neighbors, friends, go to the Portsmouth polls and see your name and then want to bubble it.
One, as I said, I'm home and I'm very proud of my city. I'm very proud of the things we do. I like the farmer's market. I like the flea market. I like the First Fridays. I like the pavilion. We've got so much to do in this city. And we need to, again, as I said, keep talking about the positive. I'm a business person. I want to help protect that taxpayer dollar, that $1.30. I'd like to get that slashed 10 cents. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we need to start putting money back into the pockets of the citizens here at Portsmouth. I've got proven leadership. I don't need GPS to find out where I'm going. I didn't move from someplace else to come here in Portsmouth. I'm here. I'm educated here. I think my toolbox is full. I think I'm comfortable with any place I go to, with the civic leagues that I go to, with the churches that I've gone to, and I'm proud to be here. And obviously, the 2 most important endorsements that I was looking for are Portsmouth-based organizations. The Portsmouth Educators Association, who represents the teachers, and the firefighters and paramedics. Those were the 2 that I wanted and I got. So obviously they saw something in me in the conversations and know that, hey, I can be trusted, and they have the confidence in me to provide the leadership that we're looking for right now. And that's what I want to do. I want to help move the needle right now.
Excellent. I have gone ahead and on the comment thread added the link to the wavy.com candidate profile for you because I want more people to go look up more of your words on your thoughts going into Portsmouth voting season. And again, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, good sir. It's been enjoyable, a good chat, very important topics to me, and I'm glad you were able to address them the way you did. Again, thank you for coming on this night.
Conrad, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. This was great.
Good. I hope to chat with you sometime soon as well. And for all the viewers of SchezzWho, I want to make sure that you guys like the episode, subscribe to the channel, come back for the next one. I'm very close to being able to schedule Jennifer Navarella, who is running for City Council in Chesapeake. I'll be breaking down some more forums that I've been to. I hope all of you guys tune in for that. Hope you enjoyed tonight. Hope you look up Bruce Lalonde going into the polls. And I hope you guys just have a great night. I will be able to catch you the next time here on